Hey there, and thank you for joining the Get More MSP Leads podcast. I'm really excited to have a special guest, special friend, kind of one of those people that I see all the time in the space, see in the industry, see on LinkedIn, see out at events, and certainly see at some AT&T events that we have. I think that's kind of how we really primarily connected. But that's Andy Siemens. He's the CEO of Tailwind Voice and Data. And Andy, I'm really excited about you sharing your story today. I think based on what we've had conversations of late, you got a lot going on and we share a lot of similarities in the way that we believe real growth happens. So welcome to the podcast. Excited to
Yeah,
have
thanks
you.
for having me. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Do you mind giving us a little background for those that may not know about you or your business? Just tell us kind of where you came from, what built Tailwind as it is today, and what you guys are doing and seeing out there in the space. Would love just to kind of understand that before we get started on the hard stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I got into sales back in '98. I worked for a print company for a couple of years, and then I went to work for a field services company. And
Yeah.
from 2000 to 2005, I worked for that field services company. We did phone systems and voice and data cabling and tech dispatch for enterprise type companies. So 50 plus locations, centralized in their decision making at corporate, and big wholesale clients as well. Those
Yeah.
that need feet in the street and needed installation of some sort.
Yeah.
2005, that company got bought by a private equity firm, and they needed to get rid of their LLC, which was a local tech shop. And
Yeah.
that local tech shop was Tailwind Voice and Data. We had 3 vans, like 4 other
Mhm.
staffs. We had maybe 7 or 8 employees. And that started the journey. We got out of there. We worked in the 7 county metro of Minneapolis and St. Paul,
Okay.
and quickly developed a tech database. And by
Mhm.
2008, we no longer had the vans. We were doing field services nationally. And
Mm.
that was really the kind of humble beginnings of where we began. And
Yeah.
from there, in 2014, we decided to spin up a product which was aggregating internet access, business internet access. And by 2018, that was becoming a significant part of our revenue.
Yeah.
And then really fast forward from there to 2026, business internet is about 67% of our revenue. Field services is still very important to us from how the cohesion between the two. We not only can sell you an internet circuit, but we're going to provide the resources to go out there and install that service and then do the day two support on that. And
Yeah.
really, we have four core products. It's field services, business internet, knock as a service, and then TEM. So,
Yeah.
and we really stay in our lane. We don't go really outside that.
Yep.
I think that's what makes us very good at
Different.
what we do.
Yeah. I love that. Okay, so Andy, I'm gonna just shoot you straight. One of my favorite things about our conversations has been not as I love the services and what you guys are doing and how fast you're growing, but also just the mindset. I think that you have a gift in your mindset for growth. And so I'd really like, if you don't mind, just like putting yourself back in the first couple of years when you did have the trucks and like what your mindset was then. I think that you kind of skimmed through adding that product, but I do think that that probably had something to do with you seeing or having a vision of what the industry needed that you could solve. So, do you mind just kind of sharing a little this versus that? What was Andy's mindset back in the early days versus what is Andy's mindset today, and how did that shift happen? Or did it? Maybe it didn't. Maybe there was no
Yeah,
shift. But just talk about that a little bit because I do
yeah,
think that a lot of us get stuck in making the product work, and I see that in you. I see the change, and from what I usually talk to folks about versus what I talk to you about, and I think that what you have can really inspire a lot of people listening today. So talk about that. What's the difference between the way you thought then and then
sure.
the way you think now? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I think the number one thing was like, I think back then we thought, hey, we're going to be able to be a field services company forever.
Yeah.
And I think that product it's kind of commoditized,
Yeah.
and we were driven to build it, and I was wholly focused on that.
Yeah.
And then really, we started looking at the industry and saying number one, we needed a monthly reoccurring revenue
Right.
aspect to our business. So certainly the business internet added that to it. So
So that's all you're hearing today. Do that.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. As far as like being driven in why our product is the way it is today is that we have not compromised on the service aspect of it. So what
Yeah.
we are a client first company.
Yeah.
So when we are looking at our back end, like how do we operate?
Mm.
What type of text do we source? How we bill? How we manage those services once they're installed.
Yeah.
That has never changed. We've doubled down on what we do and how we do it.
Yeah.
And instead of being like most people out there, they're trying to, they have a private equity firm because they sold to a
Mhm.
private equity firm, or
Yeah.
somebody is watching the nickels and they're saying, we got to do it less
Mhm.
expensively. And really what that does is it erodes the product.
Yeah.
So, we are more of a boutique firm.
Mhm.
We are not the least expensive out there, but
Mhm.
what we'll guarantee you is that if you look at our data, we service our clients at a very high level. That's really why we're seeing the growth we are seeing. And this
Yeah.
year, especially, we're seeing amazing growth on our field services side again. And it's because most companies are using auction sites and trying to get the cheapest labor out there. And we're
Yeah.
not. We have a preferred tech program. It's companies we've worked with forever. And we're just
Yeah.
doubling down on the service. And
Yeah.
we believe that that's what sets us apart.
Yeah. So mindset shift being from making sure that you're customer first in everything you do
Yeah.
has changed the way that you've even built your business, and
Yep.
then not just going for the cheapest option, but
Yeah.
also making sure that you're investing in quality. That's good. And that's also customer first. I think that comes from being customer first is
Well,
that
and I think
investment.
I think it's okay to like, we toyed with it. We were like, listen, maybe there's something to utilizing these auction sites to get
Right.
cheaper labor and maybe we'll make more margin. And we've quickly turned that around and said, listen, what that comes with is poor quality service.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we now have reduced our use of those type of services to just the most rural places in North America. So
Yeah.
it's under like 7% of our tickets. We
Yeah.
use those type of sites. Otherwise, we're using people that we know, they know our
Yeah.
quality, they know our standards, and we just get a different product. And our enterprise clients feel it every day. They're like, man, you
Yeah.
guys are way different than everybody else.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Okay, so when we talked last, it was not on a podcast, it was just on a call, just off the cuff, but you talked about kind of 3 areas of focus or 3 pillars of focus for you. I believe just what I'm hearing you say, that also ties a lot into your kind of explosive growth here as
Yep.
of late. But talk about that because I think that a lot of times we get laser focused on new logos, new opportunities, we kinda miss a bigger picture. So talk about what you're focused on in terms of your 3 pillars and how you're getting new opportunities.
Yeah, we have 3 pillars as far as our go-to-market strategy,
Yeah,
and really it's, for getting us leads, right? So
yeah,
there's that traditional marketing, PSO, that type of, the AEO,
kinda day to
Google
day.
Ads. Yeah,
Yeah,
really the marketing, that whole piece. Then
yeah,
there's the deep and wide into our enterprise base of accounts. So
yep,
really targeting them with sequences and just staying on top of them as
yep,
far as what products are they buying from us? Where's the miss from us? And how
yep,
do we get in front of them? And
yep,
then there's the channel. So we just
yep,
formalized our channel
yep,
and we're going full in on that. Most of our competition has been the channel forever. We
yep,
are relatively new to it. So a lot of the marketing we're doing around that is going to events,
yep,
social,
yep,
just putting ourselves out there and trying to get our
yeah.
brand noticed.
Yeah, and I think in the channel, that's actually, a lot of us are in the channel and don't really have a strategy for how we're tackling that, how we're approaching it. I think that we assume, and a lot of us, to be honest, tell me if you disagree, but build our business. We start with referrals. We kind of learn to depend on that. And then you've gotten to a place really where your go to market is not just, one avenue or one path. You've got a lot of opportunities. And so I do think, I'm connecting the dots, but I do think your kind of mindset around customer first, starting to see what other opportunities are out there and then expand, like that could seem overwhelming for somebody that runs a business like you that, might be thinking I'm barely keeping up with what I have today. But it sounds like you have done a very good job of being intentional about going to market separately. And then now you've got kind of that three-pronged strategy. Is that
Well, you can't teach like it was very hard to teach an old dog new tricks. So
yeah.
I built the company on cold calling. So
Yeah,
I'm really
yeah,
proud. I tell people, we went from basically 0 to 14 million on door
yeah,
knock. I mean, we
yeah,
cold called around the country and that's how
yeah,
we did it. And
yeah,
the shift really came kind of a couple years, well, probably 6 years ago, the shift came and we just basically said, listen, that's not working as well as it has been.
yeah,
Well, let's start and try something new. So that's when we really started doing our marketing efforts.
yeah,
That's when we decided to say, listen, let's have more sales reps with fewer accounts so they can really focus on those accounts and go deep and
yeah,
wide into them.
yeah,
And then, the next frontier was the channel. So
yeah,
that we just formalized as of March of this year.
nice, yeah,
So now that's really, we're starting to see a lot of quoting activity and really good things coming out of that. And
yeah,
then the next frontier for us really is wholesale. So we've
yeah,
had a few wholesale accounts, but we're getting ready to launch. really a major push on the wholesale. We're going to bring
Yep.
someone in with 15 to 20 years of experience to really attack that wholesale side. And that really will complete like what my vision
The
is of,
quadrants.
how do we attack
Yeah.
this market in a new way?
Yeah.
And really it's marketing, it's account management,
Yep.
it's the channel and now
Great
the wholesale
strategy.
market. So we'll have
Yeah.
four really key go-to-market strategies.
I love that. I love that. And I think that, it doesn't happen overnight, obviously. How
No.
old is the business?
21 years.
21-year-old business. So if you're listening and you're like, this sounds like a great path, but there's no way, you have to take baby steps, but you
Yep.
also have to have, in my opinion, the biggest part is like, you've got to earn trust in each before you do the four quadrants, the
Totally.
all. And so what you've done successfully is kind of earned the
Yep.
trust of your buyer by keeping your customer first. I love that.
Yeah, and I would say for businesses out there that are small or just starting,
Hmm.
focus on getting your first product right. So
Yeah.
and or your first go-to-market
Perfecting
strategy
that.
right. So get that strategy right, see success there.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you're gonna be spinning your wheels on a bunch of different and that
Yeah, and a lot of us are founder engineers, you have
Mhm.
founder sales or you have founder engineers, and sometimes if you have founder engineers, every idea sounds like a good idea, and that can really get overwhelming. I totally agree with that. Do one thing really well,
Yep,
before you start trying to tackle everything. It's
yep.
good tip. Free advice here from Andy. Okay, so what is the sales structure particularly look like in practice today? So what is you said you've got kind of people dedicated at your
Yep.
level. What's the numbers on that?
It's
How are
very small.
Yeah, okay.
We are a lot smaller than most. I mean,
People
we
think?
have an
Yeah.
excellent team.
Yeah.
It's kind of so the team is set up this way. We have myself, an executive VP, and my
Mhm,
director of sales are our
mhm.
sales leadership team. We meet once a week,
Okay.
and we really talk about opportunities, large quotes we have out there. How do we get them across the line? Who are we flying out next week to go see and try to move the bar? So
Mhm.
that's our top of the line. Then I have a channel manager and a
Okay.
channel chief, and that's new. So we're getting ready to add in that space, but that's relatively new. And they do a lot with little. So
Mhm,
that's heavy on the marketing, but I'm also overlay on that. So there's really three of us really attacking the channel. On the enterprise side of the house, which is really the our direct team, there's 5 sales reps over there, and they have the majority of our accounts, and they're mining those accounts. And
mhm,
then we're getting all of our leads through the work that we're doing, like I said before, with the marketing efforts and
mhm.
some outgoing sequences that our sales team put together.
Yeah,
That's driving leads into those core 5. So
yeah,
that's really how it's set up.
yeah. Okay, so that does sound like you've got a little not it does sound small, but I think if you've got A players and good ownership of who's doing what, it can work,
Yeah.
right?
But I always look at it and say, we have 3 leadership team members that actively sell.
Mhm.
So we have a lot of pride. We love bringing new accounts. So
Yeah.
I've got my EVP, my director of sales, and myself still are out there overlaying on our sales team. Then we
Mhm,
really have 6 sales team members or 7 sales team members. And then so that's 10. And then we have 15 to 20 trusted advisors already.
mhm,
So those people are bringing us opportunities. So if you start looking at it that way, we're
mhm.
throwing a bigger net. I
Yeah.
always want to throw a bigger net, but we're
Yeah.
throwing a
Don't we
bigger net.
all? Don't we
Yeah.
all, Andy? We all yeah. Tell me what your sales activity looks like versus a sales activity of one of your team members, because I bet the way that you're selling today is a lot different than the way you were selling early on, or is it? I don't know.
No, yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm where I came from,
Your
it was
bigger
was
picture
cold
too,
calling.
probably too. Yeah.
Right. But I'm doing more of the referral stuff.
Yeah.
There,
Relationship, big
like
relationship.
we've landed a couple MSPs lately,
Yeah.
and that kind of concept was started by me. I
Yeah.
kept seeing that the MSPs were showing up in the channel more, and I'm like, listen, I think we would be a good fit for MSPs. So I
Mhm.
called somebody I knew locally here who referred me into a local, pretty big MSP,
Yep.
had like 2 or 3 conversations, and now they're a client.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, so that worked, and then it's worked a couple more times, and so
Yeah.
now we're like, all right,
I
that's a
love
whole
that.
new that's where the wholesale comes in. Let's start
Yeah.
targeting
Yeah.
targeting
So talk
MSP.
about that a little bit because we do have a lot of MSP listeners. So let's talk
Yeah.
about that. I think we can all learn, whoever's listening today, we can all learn from your success of growth. But tell me specifically what value you're adding. What are what your partnership with those MSPs look like today so that anybody listening that's like, oh, this sounds like a good opportunity can, reach out to you. I'd love to dig
Yeah.
into that.
No, absolutely. If you're an MSP out there that is looking for is very or all about white glove to your client,
Yep.
like the
Yep.
client experience is what you guys talk about in your meetings all the time, then we would be a great fit.
Yep.
And the things would be a great fit on our tech dispatch. So across North America. So dispatching to do wireless surveys, rack and stack of equipment, structured cabling, network refreshes, all those things. We do them every day, and it's one of our cores. And then obviously business internet. And that's one of the things that we're finding out MSPs don't really want to or haven't played in. Not that
Yep.
they don't want to play in, but it's kind of one of those gaps. They'll do it if they have to do it.
Yeah.
And we
But you
are
can certainly
very
lose customers if you don't do it, I think. That's a big opportunity
exactly,
for an MSP to lose
exactly.
somebody.
So,
And you
and
don't want
that's
somebody
something
in
that
there
we
that's got your product and internet.
no, totally, totally. So that's the other area that we do really, really well.
Yeah.
And those things they marry really well together. And we're not trying to do anything that we don't do well. So
Yeah.
that's why the MSPs, they do all these other things. And
Right.
those two gaps are things that they have to do a lot of times, but it's not necessarily a core.
And maybe you
And
don't
it's a
have the
core of
bandwidth
ours.
to focus
Yep.
on. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yep.
they can just partner with you and it's turnkey. It's hey, you pick what you want to do, resale wise, white glove, and
Yep.
Tailwind handles it on the back end.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Love it.
Some of them are doing it like the channel way,
Yeah.
and we're paying them. We're direct with their
Yeah.
clients and we're paying them. And
Yep.
some are doing it the wholesale way where they're just taking our wholesale pricing and
Yep.
they're marging it up
Yep.
and doing it themselves. So
Love it. Love it. Okay. Well, lots of ways to work with Tailwind, lots of
yeah.
ways to see them out in the market. Where would somebody find you if they're interested in learning more about you or reaching out on any of the 4
Yeah.
areas you are?
Our website's great. So it's just www.tailwindvoiceanddata.com.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I didn't come up with the name Tailwind. And when
You
they
inherited
got
it.
the website, it's long, it's all spelled out, but that's
Right.
you can
That's
find
right.
us out there. We pop up very quickly if you put in
Yeah.
aggregation, broadband aggregation, or field services nationwide. You
Yeah.
can find it.
Love it. Okay. And Andy's on LinkedIn. I know you're pretty active there, so be sure you
Mhm.
check him out. I will see Andy hopefully this summer at one of the AT&T regional events. And if you want to reach out to Andy whenever this post, his contact info and the website will be in the show notes. Andy, thank you so much for sharing your expertise. Lots that I can learn from, lots that we all can learn from. And I look forward to seeing your continued growth.
Thanks for having me on the
Thanks.